Hello, thanks for coming to my session Transformation that can save your ETL in Power BI. I'm Ana Maria Bisbe, BI consultant, Microsoft partner in Power BI, data platform MVP, and LinkedIn learning training. I'm a co-leader of Power Platform Madrid Meetup. I'm very happy for being here today ready to talk about ETL and the query editor in Excel and Power BI. First of all, I want to thank to the Excel Virtually Global team for having me in and to the sponsors and volunteers for their help. The agenda for this session is by first, we will look briefly the definition of ETL process in general and ETL process in Power Query in particular. And then we will travel through the 3 steps of ETL. There are the same steps for Excel and Power BI. Extraction, transform, that includes data quality and data transformation, and load data to the data model. ETL process is the first and basic layer of the business intelligence system. We could say it's a hidden layer. Final user who looks at the analytical reports and dashboards does not see all the stuff necessary for cleansing, filtering, and wrangling data before loading it. ETL process is as hard to implement as necessary for the success of a BI project. The BI project is based on good or bad ETL. Excel and Power BI go through the 3 steps of ETL. Extract data from files or folders, database, scripts, cloud, or many others. Then, using Power Query Editor, we can transform imported data, doing data quality tasks, filtering by rows, by columns, formatting original data as tables, combining queries, and doing several different transformations, like for example pivot, on pivot, fill, and transpose. After that, Excel and Power BI can load data into tabular model, creating the relationship between loaded tables. Then our goal is redefine the model depending on the tool we are using. As soon as we finish all the ETL and modeling tasks, we are ready for start creating, sharing, and consuming reports and dashboards in Excel and Power BI. Okay, it's time for the demo. There are different sources for getting data. We need to extract, transform, and load all this data and create a final model in Excel and Power BI. Let's start from the beginning. Here we have 2 files from cells in 2 different locations. Here we have cells 2019 and 2020. Okay, let's see the Power Query for this case. Okay, where is my query? Okay, here we have, let's start from 2019. We need to connect to the data, to the CSV file, because RPT is the origin. Then promote header, remove top rows. We are cleaning our data, remove bottom rows, rename columns, and then just change type, and final point here will be extract data from this column because we need just the date. Okay, let's extract. And now we have all these steps for this case. The other one for 2020 have just more few columns, but it's the same process, and the transformation that can save our ETL in this case is duplicate. When we duplicate a query, we have the same structure, all these steps, and the only change we need to do is to point to the real source. I did already, and now we have here for the first step our source. We can see here for sales for 2020. All the steps are the same, and at the end, because we have more columns, at the end we need an extra step. So we have the same transformation, we can duplicate, have two different queries, and now, as far as we have the same structure for our data, we are able to join. And now the transformation will be append queries. In this case, we need to append two queries in one new. And now we have our cells combined by 2019 and 2020. And here we have all the information for sales. Due to the similarity of the steps, one approach here could be duplicate the query. This was my approach. I'm using here a parameter. This is important because we have, using Power Query, the option to select the parameter, and if I'm using the same folder for different files, is very good for our development to create and work with parameters. Okay, let's see the second case. We need to perform the ETL for customers. And in this case, our customers' data is in the database. Okay. We need to create new source, SQL Server, for example, connect to the server, and then using the navigator, we need to select all the elements from our database. In this case, we have dim customer and dim geography. Power Query can detect the relationship between dim customer and dim geography. For this reason, it is enough to import data from just one table. Okay, here we have our source, SQL Server database, navigation to our dim customer table. And then it's necessary to rid of the other columns, because we want to select just the columns that we need for our model. Power Query is able to see the columns from geography. Here we have a column. This column contains a table. a table for each one of the rows. It is a different tables that contains all the rows for this one. Okay, so the transformation here will be expand. So we need to expand to open the table and then select the columns we need. In this case, we select, for example, city and country. Okay, then it's important to improve our model. In this case, we have the birthday. The birthday is a column with a very high granularity. We can see, for example, is where looking at the column distribution profile, and we are able to see a lot of distinct and unique values. This is not good for our model. Okay, so because of that, I start using, doing several transformations for our ETL. For example, calculate age, and then calculate total years and round. And now we have the real age for our customers. And then we are ready for start doing some conditional columns for age ranges. For example, in this case, okay, rename columns and insert range. That means in this case, I want to delete the age between several range from 20 to 20. So here we have the solution from 0 to 20, for 20 to 40. Okay, and then we're able to create conditional ranges. This is another case. It's not about 20 by 20 or 30 by 30. So we need to select, create a conditional ranges. In this case, we are looking at the age, checking the operator, depending on the condition we are going to define or going to evaluate. And as you can see, I'm using parameters here. It's a very good solution. Manage parameters for the queries, because here we have two levels. One level for the first comparison of age, and another level for the second comparison. It's good. It's very good to use the parameters here. Okay, we have the output. This is a conditional column, but we need to create another conditional column for ordering, for ranking our data. So it's okay. The second one, it's the transformation that will help us to create another conditional columns for ordering the data. So it's the same condition, the same very first condition here. We have one. The second, the very, very same condition, because we need to check the same situation twice. One for showing the description of the label, and one for ordering. Okay, so, okay. Then change type, and at the end we need to do some cleansing. And as we can see here, we have the 3 columns, 4 values for range, 3 values for age range, and 3 values for this. And these are very, very good columns, thinking about the performance of the queries and performance of the DAX expressions in our models, in our tabular models. This is very, very good and it's a lot better than the birthday. Okay, so now we need to remove other columns, so it's not necessary to take in account anymore these columns, and then renames column and so forth. So now we have in our customer query, we have the columns that we need from the customer table in SQL Server, plus the columns from the geography table that we merge, and then the additional columns for our tabular model, just in one query. Okay, let's see the third case. We need to perform ETL for products. Let's see. The data source here is a set of files with the information about the products that belong to one of product lines, M, R, S, T. Therefore, we are connecting to the folder and then combining files. There are several transformations that should be done before combining the content of files. Therefore, we should create them, the transformations, the steps, from sample file first. Let's see. By first, we need to look at the first Excel file. Here is the content of these files, but the real content we can see here from this column data. Here is, we see the real information is here. In this case, we have a table and we have a sheet. Okay, then we need to filter for just to take one object from Excel file, remove other columns for cleansing, and then, for example, in this case, we want to select the information about the type, the line of products. This is the type, P from product underscore and mountain. And we are using the extract text after delimiter transformation for selecting the information here. Okay, then expand data from this button, expand data and renames columns. And now we have all the first steps that we need to develop before combining. And then we are able to see the result. Source is connecting to the folder connector, filter hidden files, invoke this function. Which is the function? The function is here, transform file function. This function contains all these steps that we have created for the transform sample file. All these steps selected, filter rows, remove other column, extract test, and so on. All these steps. So product invokes this custom function. We get the 3 lines, 3 rows, because we have 3 columns, 3 files here, and then just rename and remove and expand, and that's all. Here we have all the information from mountain or from the other 2 type of products. If we add, for example, two more products. Here I have two more files from this one, from this to the products folder. The only that we need is to refresh preview, because all the steps are already done. So let's see. Now we have 5 files here, okay, and we have only 3. Okay, let's refresh preview for product query. And now Power Query will check again the folder, will develop all these steps, and now we have our 5 type of line products. It's really good. And now we have the information about product, each product. We have more. The information about product categories is in the other file. We can see. Here we have category, it's a zip file. Power BI is not able to decompress zip file, but Power BI is able to run R script, and R is able to decompress zip file. So we can join all the language, all the possibilities for our solution. And in this case, we can see here we have category. The steps is to execute an R code. This code is really simple. We need just to create a function in R that unzip the file. Now we have the solution here, navigation, and then just split columns by delimiter and change the type, and that's all. Now we have product and we have category. And information about subcategory, it's in one is in the other file, in this case in an Office Word file. Again, Power BI is not able to directly connect to a Word file, but Power BI is able to paste. Here we have the information. I will show you. If we copy from one source, we copy and paste from the clipboard. I will show you here the information, the option enter data give us the possibility of paste any information that we have in our clipboard. This transformation definitely can save our ETL. Here I have the information. This is our source and this is the solution. Now we have products from the folder, several files from our information about products, each product. Then we have product categories and we have product subcategories. The final transformation that can save our ETL is to combine, merge queries. I mean, I have all the columns for products and I want to add the columns from subcategories and then from categories. Let's see. In this case, we are joining two queries, product and subcategory. The very first point is we need to figure out which queries, product and subcategories, which columns, in this case, product subcategory key and subcategory ID, okay? And then we need to select the join key. In this case, left outer is good for me because I want to maintain all the columns from product and add several columns from subcategory. That's okay. And now, after that, we have one column, as the same as SQL Server. We have one column with the information about subcategory. We need to expand again and to take the columns we need. And then repeat the process because we want to add some columns from categories. So from products to subcategory, and from products plus subcategory, we are going to add the columns from categories. We are linking, joining the queries, because we need to create one entity product with all the columns, all the attributes for this entity, for the products. Okay, so again, let's merge one more time, in this case, product that contains already subcategories and categories. Here we have two columns, two queries, the columns that we need, and again the join key. Expand, rename, and remove other columns because it's very, very important to clean the data. We need to upload to the model just the needed column, nothing more. Nothing more. So, remove other columns will allow us to rid of subcategory key and category ID, because when we need these columns, we were able to use them. But now we have the real information we need for the model. So, rid of the columns, now it's okay. Okay, so our products columns, our products entity will contain the columns that were in products. Products were divided by different files in one folder. This was the first step here. The second step was unzip file using R script. We took the information from categories. And the third step was copy and paste using enter data option from the clipboard to Power Query. Okay, and then after that, merging these queries to one. Okay, let's see the other case. In this case, we will see the information about promotions. Here we have promotion cells in an Excel file. Okay, let's see. We are looking at the Excel file, navigation, change type, nothing complicated here. The challenge here is to obtain just the promotion info from a table where we have several information and we want not to lose this information. The transformation that can save our ETL in this case is reference. At the beginning, we work with duplicate cells from one year, cells from other years. In this case, we are going to reference. So the information about the promotion cells will stay as it. We are not losing anything. And then we are referencing in a new query. And the steps here that we need to do the reference points to the T promotion sales Excel file, my query, and then remove other columns, all the columns that are not related with the promotion information. Then remove duplicates and rename columns. And that's all. And now we have the information we need about promotions, and the rest of columns, the rest of data is here. We don't lose it. Okay, the last step will be work with M language. We need to create a calendar table using M code. Will be necessary to write this code, the first one and the second one. And now when we have the list of all the dates between the January the 1st, 2019 till the end of 2020. The same dates that we have of our sales. Okay, so now we need to convert to table, change type, and now as far as we have a column, I can rename. Okay, as far as we have a column with this kind of data type, date, we are able to create several columns and use all these steps for improve our model, thinking about time intelligence BI. Okay, let's see. If we have a column with the type date, we are able to add columns and a lot of possibilities here, a lot of options. I've already created, I've inserted year and month name and so on. Okay, a lot of transformation that can save our ETL in this case, improving the model. Using M code, I can show you the advanced editor. This is the M code that I've created for my calendar dates table. Now I'm ready for the model because I have all the elements that I need. Okay, let's see all together. Now we can see all the queries all together: sales, customers, products, promotion, and calendar dates. All the parameters, the functions, all the steps in just one Power BI desktop file. Using Power Query Editor, we are able to see all the steps together, all the parameters here, the parameters that we defined here with using the manage parameters, and then we save and load the data, and we are able to see the 5 tables here, and from the Power BI desktop model view, we are able to see the 5 tables and the relationship between the tables. This is the final steps. We have our beautiful star schema model containing 5 tables. In this case, we have 1 fact table and 4 dimensions, 4 entities for analyzing our fact values. So it's ready, it's done. A lot of transformation, a lot of steps, a lot of functionalities integrated in Power Query in Power BI. What about Excel? Excel behaves the same as Power BI. Power Query is the same structure. Okay, let's see. Sorry, my Excel is in Spanish. Okay, I will look at the date and obtain data, and here I will start my Power Query editor. It's all prepared, it's all done, all the transformation, all the steps. Excel opens the windows in the Power Query in other windows. I will show you. Here we have the same 5 tables, the same transformation, and we have an exception here because the category information was taken from a zip file using R code. The connection between R and Power Query is ready in Power Query in Power BI, but not in Power Query for Excel. So we are not able to use and to combine a Power Query and R using Excel file. The rest is the same. So it's just one step or transformation that can save our ETL in my example that is not available in Excel. The R script connector. The rest is the same. Okay, now we have all the queries, and then Excel can work with the tabular model, also tabular model, using Power Pivot. Power Pivot, we have 2 views, the data views and the diagram views. And this we are able to see the same 5 tables, the same star schema we've created using the Power BI. Power Query is the same Power Query for the both of our tools. Okay, let's back to the slides. We extracted data from files .rpt cells. We extracted from folder all the products. From clipboard, copy and paste the information about the subcategories. From R script, taking the information from categories that were compressed in one zip file. This is my R code. And then we use Excel table from Excel file for promotion sales information. And also we take some information from SQL Server table from a database, Adventure Works. Okay. And also we create a new, from zero, from the scratch, query using M code, the code from for Power Query. Here we have the idea. Okay. Our conclusions for this session are: Query Editor is a powerful tool for ETL purposes. Data could be extracted from many different sources, transformed from different format to the model, the tabular model. Data should be cleansed and improved considering business requirement. And then at the end of all of this transformation, we need to load into the tabular model. Happy querying, happy analyzing, enjoyed the event. Thank you very much for coming. Thanks for attending to my session.